Hi guys, Trafton here. Today I am excited. I'm gonna do something that I've never done before that I've wanted to do for a really long time, which is to make like a breakdown video of one of my songs and go in and play some elements individually and just kind of like go into some of the production of it and talk about the song itself. Just things that I don't really get to do when I release music. Sometimes I feel like I spend all this time, if you've been following me and you listen to my music, you've probably heard me talk about like just how much time I spend on my work, and I do a lot of it alone. And sometimes it feels like, you release it and that's amazing, but I don't always get to talk about like what went into it. And so I think this could be a way to do that. Today I'm going to be doing this for my song Miles, which is on the EP Running, which came out 2 years ago this week. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's like sort of a little celebration. Did I start my audio recording? Like in honor of kind of the 2-year anniversary of the Running EP. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into the project. So, okay, here we have the Miles mixing project. I'm actually kind of confused. I don't really know why I called it mixing, because there's no mixing happening. There's like nothing actually happening here. All the work happened in a different track, which I may pull up at the end just to show you one thing. But this is just gonna have like a lot of condensed audio tracks. So I can just demo some of the individual elements and whatnot. A lot of them are consolidated down from a lot of other tracks. So this is like 40 something tracks, but the work project, the production project is like 150 or something. So for example, this Miles lead vocal right here, this is actually like 6 different vocals, like all spread out. And then it's bounced or like exported into one file, which is what you're gonna hear here. So yeah, I think the first thing that I want to say about this song is that this was the first song that it has my home piano on it. And that was really exciting for me. It was just recorded like not super well on my little like Zoom handheld recorder. And so I layered it with other MIDI pianos and other piano sounds to like kind of fill it out. But the character of this piano is my upright piano from home that I grew up playing and that I wrote this song on. So yeah, I remember I wrote this song like during the pandemic, and I was home and I was just playing that piano every day. And so I knew I wanted to try to get it onto the record, and I'm really pleased that I was able to do that. So yeah, like a lot of my music, this song is pretty piano based. So I think I'll start and just like play the piano by itself, so you can hear the piano chords. I'll add the vocals.
I don't wanna lose it this time. Hold the line, walk away.
And then everything. Yeah, and just so you know, this file right here is just like the actual final master. So it's a little bit more polished and a little bit like bolder than everything else altogether. But yeah, in the vocal sound at the beginning, it's just one vocal here, and it's kind of low passed, so the high end's not as much in it, and I just wanted it to be like really warm and intimate. The image here is kind of in the lyrics, all I want around me tonight is the light from, is that what is the light? Yeah, from your fire. And it's just this image of kind of like being in this close, warm darkness with very little light, but just like the warmth from this fire, and that as like the metaphor of like the feeling from this person that you want to be with. And then yeah, it opens up a little bit into this chorus, this first instrumental chorus thing. And then when the vocal comes in the second verse, it's much brighter, and it's like way more forward, and so it's just kind of like a lot more striking. So yeah, we'll get there in a second, but yeah, and then this opens after the first verse. It goes into like sort of this first instrumental chorusy thing, which is also very piano based. It's these piano notes. These are also consolidated down from a lot of different ones, but the acoustic ones are also my home piano, and then this and this is like different MIDI pianos, like sampled pianos, and then these are just like some bells or something. Why are they not playing? Oh, they start here. So all together the notes are like this. And then with the reverb, yeah. And to me, you know, like the hook of the song, like I'll Go the Miles, and like the vocals are obviously huge parts of the song. But honestly, the crux of the song, kind of the thesis of the song, if you will, for me, is that this piano part, this which expands more at the end. It goes, you know, goes off and does other melodies, but really that with the tone of this warm piano is the song for me. That kind of encapsulates this feeling that I was going for. And I don't know, side note, kind of like tangent about my philosophy of producing music and kind of bringing a song to life is like, or how I measure kind of how well I've done in doing that is how closely can I align the tangible, listenable, physical, you know, representation of this totally ineffable feeling or experience or story that I'm trying to convey. How closely can I align that sound to the essence, to the real thing, to the thing that cannot be captured? And that's, in my view, like what I'm trying to do as I'm getting better as an artist and a producer is to get better at being able to align that. And so I can really express myself more accurately, like in my medium. And I feel like I did a pretty good job in Miles. I was really in touch with the feeling the whole time. Like a lot of the times you get a moment of inspiration, you get that feeling or that experience that you create from, but you're not really always in touch with it. And you kind of have to trust that you know where it is and that you can follow it. But I was sort of recurrently in touch with this feeling the whole time over the weeks and the months that I was creating it. And I really knew what it was supposed to sound like. I knew what it needed to be like in its musical representation. And this piano is just like a big part of that. So yeah. All right, into the second verse, so you can kind of hear how this vocal is so much brighter.
All I wanna know is your mind. Go inside, go to heaven.
And then it gets really crazy with all the delays.
Come to life, stay forever. I'll go the miles, 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 I'll go the miles.
Yeah. So in the second verse, the thing that I kind of want to talk about in the second verse is the writing, which makes me a little bit nervous. I've always been really like kind of resistant to talking about the meaning of lyrics and, you know, the specifics of what I'm talking about. Partly that's because I don't think I could say it any better than I've already said it in the song. So it sort of seems like futile to talk about it. But one thing that I really like to do and that kind of excites me about songwriting is when you can find double meanings and double entendres and a word that can be heard two different ways or has two different or more connotations. And that just provides so much richness to the language of the song. So here, there's like a lot of that happening and makes me really excited. So I want to do it, or I want to talk about that. So first, I'm just going to play it because I'm curious how you hear these lyrics before I say them. So yeah, if you feel like it, you could comment. How do you hear the first part of the second verse?
All I wanna know is your mind. Go inside, go to heaven.
So, oh my God, I did probably hundreds of takes trying to pronounce a couple of these words just right so that they could be heard two different ways. The lyrics that I provided to like the internet and to Spotify, which is kind of, well, is it? I was going to say that's like how I actually directly wrote it, but I don't really know if that's true. But kind of like anyway, one way to hear it is all I want to know is your mind. Coincide with a C. Go to heaven. But I pronounced mind and coincide, like the mind with like a tiny little D at the end, LOL, and coincide, so it could also be like a G, like, like a voice consonant at the beginning. So the other way to hear it would be, all I want to know is your mind. Go inside, go to heaven. Which I will not further interpret here. But I was just kind of pleased by the way that sort of emerged here. Yeah, and then it goes into those chorus vocals, which you heard are just like super, super lush. Again, there's like 6 of these guys. They're all spread around. So like if you're listening in headphones, you're hearing them everywhere. And I feel like that sort of represents for me kind of this feeling of desire, which is really emotionally what the song is about. This rich kind of intense desire to be with somebody, or there's also just like feelings of desire and sort of love that aren't necessarily associated with another person, but and these vocals kind of feel like the way that feeling is just so overwhelming and sort of like all encompassing and just sort of blankets you and almost like it eclipses everything else when you're experiencing that. And I kind of wanted these vocals to feel like that, just like so lush and so constant. So yeah, I'll play those again because I like them. I want you to hear them like that.
I'll go miles, 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 I'll go
Yeah, and then we're back to like what to me is like the thesis, kind of the chorus of the song, which is the notes. But now the whole world starts to get built up and everything else is coming in. And sort of it feels like now those notes, the da-na-na-na-na-na, are just being held by everything else, including a bunch of synths, which is, I think, what I want to go into next. So there's a few different synths that are layered up in here. I think the kind of most important ones that are carrying the voicings of the chords are these guys.
All good.
But all the synths together. There's also these flutes. Oh my god, I love these flutes. I love flutes. And I love fake flutes. Like, these are obviously not real flutes. They're from the Prophet. And these are obviously not real woodwinds. Where are my woodwinds at? Come on. I wanna show you the woodwinds. Oh, here. Oh, but these guys are they're kind of like shy, and I don't know. I just love them. And you don't really hear them that loud, but if you take them out, you really notice their absence. See? I love this synth. It has like this phaser on it. Meow. Feels like it's like kind of like rising and falling. And then later in the song, I sent the synth, that fuzzy synth, to a bus that really starts to emphasize this like 16th note rhythm, which a lot of the elements start to do later in the song. But this is it with that. So in context. I love that. Obsessed with that. Yeah, so are there any other synth things in there? There's also like this arpeggio note, which is just doing this one note, but it is giving a lot of atmosphere and also emphasizing this rhythm. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and it also is providing a sort of counter melody to the notes. I think. And then the other thing, I love this one. This is like, you hear this come in, it's really heavenly kind of. Sort of choir. It's like, oh. To me, that synth is kind of like the realization of this feeling or something. It's just, yeah, heavenly is the word that I want to use to describe it. Feels like that. Yeah, and then this rhythmic element kind of leads me to the drums, which also really emphasizes, oh, I had the drums muted. Did I have the drums muted this whole time? Okay. Really emphasizes that the 16th note thing. So first I'll just play the drums and maybe these like effects as well. The end of the song where they really come out. I brought the level of all the drums up, but just so you can hear the drums alone. I'm gonna mute this. Yeah, so there's the kick thing. The snare that I'm using isn't actually a snare until the very end. This actual snare kind of comes in to like help it out a little bit and give it a little bit more body on the upbeat. But mostly I'm using this sound. And this is one of my sounds. I recorded this sample. I think in Vermont a few years ago. There was a couple years ago when I just was like going around recording a bunch of like percussive weird outside sounds, and I think I was like at my aunt's farm or something, and I was just like whacking a bunch of sticks, or it could be rocks. Honestly, I did it another time with rocks, like a shovel with, I was like shoveling rocks. And yeah, this is just a couple samples from there. I think, what is these little perks? This is just like a loop. The other cool sound that's doing a rhythmic thing is the quote metal stuff. I love a metallic texture. I just love a metallic texture, like super low. And I'm pretty sure what this is me with a metal spoon and a pot. I was like pretending it was like a singing bowl. I was like, phew. And then I'm pretty sure with a lot of this rhythmic stuff, I brought it into Ableton and kind of warped it to the grid. And so I put it in like beats mode. And it warps it, kind of made it transient to like a 16th note thing, and created a loop out of that. And then the last cool thing in here is this rain instrument, which is also one of my recordings. And I'm not gonna mess up my camera situation right now, but I'm looking at it right now. It's on the wall of this house in Maine that I'm in. I recorded this a couple summers ago when I was here. It's just like this, all these wooden like bamboo sticks essentially. And this kind of just gives, I don't know, like that. Here, I'll play that part in context with this percussive swell as well. I'm gonna do it on the vocals. Yeah, and that's kind of one way, along with the cymbals, that I swell into like the different builds of the song. Yeah. And then, oh my gosh, there's one other thing that I want to point out, which is Digifrog. This is like my favorite part. Well, actually, yeah, forget everything I said about the thesis of this song being the piano. The Digifrog is the thesis of this song. Listen to this. Oh my God. So cute. I have no idea how I created this sound or where I found this sound. I think I like finessed this sound a lot. And of course I probably spent like 5 hours on the sound, and it's like literally you can hear it adds something, but not high. It's there, he's there. But I just think it's so cute. Like, just picture a little digital frog in a little digital world, in a little digital pond, like catching a little digital fly, like boop. Oh my God, he's so cute. I just love it. Yeah, and then everything's sidechained to the kick, essentially. Basically what that means is that a lot of the other elements in the song like duck when the kick happens, and so they let the kick shine through. Even though the kick doesn't have a lot of like punch or high end, I really like deep, just like low end kicks. I know you're supposed to have kick samples with like clicks and like top end, so it cuts through the mix, but I just like to sidechain shit. Okay, tangent. I think I had one tangent before. So tangent number 2 about my mixing philosophy is that I like to think about elements in a mix in a song as kind of having power, as different characters in a story with different powers or different levels of power and sort of like authority over others. And the kick always has power. I love to really emphasize the power of the kick and just tell everybody else, like, hey, you synth, when the kick comes, back off. Like, you need to yield to the kick. The kick needs to come through. The kick gets the word here. So let's just like solo the synth and the synths and the kick, and you'll kind of see what I mean. So every time the kick hits, the synth just pulls a little bit. Yeah. I think that covers a lot of the things that I wanted to show you. I don't want to make this video like too long, but the last like important piece of this is the peepers. So this is a recording of peepers that I made a couple years ago when I was home in New Hampshire in, I think, July. And let's just listen to the peepers for a second. Okay, in context. To me, that is the sound of my childhood summers, honestly. Like the sound of peepers, falling asleep to that sound. It is peace. It's gonna be all right. And I really, when I was building this song up, I was like, I need to put peepers in here. And the couple times that I've performed this song live, I've also like kind of let the whole track die out and just let the peepers end the song. These peepers really add something for me. I don't know if they strike other people or if they kind of elicit the same emotional reaction in other people as they do for me. But yeah, and then, okay, there's one other thing that I want to share. And for that, I'm actually going to open up the other project, the massive production project, which is here. It's going to take a second to load. While it's loading, well, thank you so much for watching. Again, this is the first of these that I've done. So if you thought this was cool, let me know. If there are any particular aspects of this video that were interesting to you, leave it in a comment. If you're a producer and you're curious in more depth about what I did somewhere or how something was made, feel free to ask, and I'd love to go into more depth in a comment. If you're new, if this just sort of popped up on your YouTube, again, I'm Trafton, and I make this kind of music. I hate it when people ask me what kind of music I make, so I'm not even going to try to explain. I make this kind of music. And if you want to hear this song in its entirety and the EP running that it's from, I'll put the link in the description. And if you feel like it, you could subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos like this, or just like future music videos and lyric videos that come out. I'm working on a lot of new music right now, so I'm excited at some point. I don't know exactly when right now, but I'm really excited to be sharing the music that I'm working on now. All right, well, I'll play it out with this, but thanks again. I wanted to show you this last thing that I did. So basically, this is kind of like a drastic move that I did on the whole song. I pretty much sent every single track in the project to either the vocals, or to everything else. So this is just like everything else. And then on here, there's a noise gate, which is ducking on a rhythm assigned by this side piece, I called it, which is an invisible, magical sidechain. So it has no output. It's not being actually heard. It's just informing what this gate is doing. So every time that this sound happens, this invisible sound happens, the gate ducks the whole track except for the vocals. And so basically, I'm going to mute the vocals. So we're just hearing this. You get, okay, ignore that. That's the auto-tune reverting to C major I've never made a song in C major. I will never, I'm kidding, maybe I would, but I don't sing in C major. So it's just funny that every time I open an old project, if I have any instances of autotune, they all revert to C major, and it fucks up all my vocals every time. Okay, anyway, yeah. So watch this. And then it's gonna go pretty deep the second time. So that's the whole track doing that. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna play it out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Digifrog.